Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. As always, I am Taylor and Gracie is now 5 weeks old, so she will be joining us in about 2 weeks. So today I wanted to talk to you about something pretty personal to me, my own experience with my first hospitalization. A lot of people who have mental illness or brain disorders have to be hospitalized at least one point in time, it seems like. I'm not saying everyone does, but I did. And this is my first time that I've been hospitalized. Yes, I've been hospitalized more than once. So I'm just going to give you the first story to begin it all. So the thing that started me needing to go in, I had a psychotic break. I'm not gonna say what started the break, but it's really, I don't remember what it was because I have a lot of problems with my memory at that point in time. Like I said, I had a break. I don't know if it was definitely a psychotic break or like a mental breakdown or something like that, but I was broken. So my husband went looking all over for a psychiatrist, and it was in the middle of COVID. So you can imagine how hard that was. He went from town to town all around us trying to find a psychiatrist that would take me. But most of them, they were either booked, they were working from home, or they didn't take my insurance. So it was a big thing. So now my problem at the time was, I will share this with you, was I was having hallucinations and I was having problems differentiating reality from the hallucinations. I was completely like out of it. I was having problems. I was scared of everybody and everything. My hallucinations especially was very scary, and it was in the middle of Christmas. So I'm having all that going on and people are coming to my house to help decorate for Christmas and I'm in the back room hiding with one of my best friends because I'm scared that one of them is gonna like shank me or something. I was terrified. I was broken. And my husband finally went to a psychiatry office and they were like, yeah, she needs to be seen. And they were trying to fit me in somewhere, and luckily someone canceled the next day. So they immediately called my husband and said, we have an opening at this time tomorrow. Do you want it? And he immediately snatched it. So we went to the psychiatrist in her office, and I was still very scared. I was terrified that they were going to hospitalize me. And my husband was like, no, I promise they won't. And this is the only time my husband has ever promised me something, and it just didn't happen. I promise you, this is the only time. So we go into the psychiatrist's office, and I'm terrified. I am so terrified. I don't know where I am. I'm very confused. I don't know what's going on, basically. And so they bring me in, and the psychiatrist evaluates me. I'm saving her name because, just because I don't want everybody to like go after her being like, why did you hospitalize? No, she evaluated me, and she evaluated that I needed to go into the hospital. My husband was like, no, I could take care of her, it'll be fine, you know, everything will be fine. And she was like, no, she really needs to be hospitalized. She even called another doctor in to evaluate me, and he told my husband the same thing, that I needed to go in. And so she ended up calling the police. There was, police. And the police came in and they searched me for any knives or anything. The only thing they found was I have a fidget cube that I use a lot. It's really, really neat for anybody who has ADHD or any kind of mental illness or whatever, and you need to fidget with something, because it's a cube, and each side has a different thing that you could do. You could press buttons, you have a light switch, you have like the thing on the Xbox that moves around, the little nodule thing. But anyway, it's really great. But that was the only thing I had on me. And so they took it, they handcuffed me, and they put me in the back of a police car. At this point, my husband was crying, and he was telling me he's so sorry. And we actually had my baby with me. I have 2 boys, and one of them was at school at the time, and the other one had to come with us because we couldn't find a babysitter. So I had my baby, looking at me, and he's just like, "Oh, hi, Mom," because he's too young to understand. But my husband was just crying and trying to take care of the baby at the same time. And luckily, some of the girls in the office was also helping him with the baby because he was about to lose it. He ended up calling one of my best friends, and she rushed over there as fast as she can. And I remember just a little portion seeing him and her hugging, and he was crying. And still, I didn't know what was going on. I really didn't, because they made sure to bring a lady officer in, because they were like, she's a little scared of men, which is true. I have a fear of men, but that's for another story. And so the lady cop was the one that was really interacting with me, and she was very gentle, she was very nice. Like, I cannot say enough for her. And she brought me to the hospital, and she knew I was scared. She's like, "It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay," And still, I have no clue what's going on, because I'm in my own little reality show. Like, I'm just, like, seeing stuff. And so I ended up going into the hospital. The only thing they gave me was my fidget cube, and they told them I cannot hurt myself with the fidget cube. It calms me down. It's there for me. So, sorry, that was my laptop. And so I'm in this room, and it's all white. There's no windows, there's nothing. It's just white. And they have this garage door basically on the wall, and I learned that's where they keep all their supplies. So someone actually came in for that and opened it up, and I was like, "Oh, supplies." So I just remember a lady coming in, and I was so scared. I didn't want to talk or anything. Like, I was pretty much a mute at that point. And she wasn't getting much out of me. But again, I wasn't able to fully tell where I was. I didn't know what was going on. And after about 2 hours, my husband was finally let in. 2 hours. Now, this is a hospital I don't regularly go to. I just don't. So this hospital, I just didn't care for. I don't go to it regularly. I just don't like it, to be honest with you. And it's further away from my house, but it was actually closer to the doctor's office that I went to, so they brought me there. And the only thing I was allowed to have on me was my fidget cube, because there was nothing I could do to harm myself with a fidget cube, except for, like, I thought about this, I could, like, swallow it or something, but I was not about to do that. And after about 2 hours of me being in this white room, I didn't want to watch television. I was just literally sitting in there with my hallucinations and my fidget cube. And 2 hours later, they finally came in and they said, "Do you want your husband in here?" And I shook my head yes. So he finally came in. So he at this point had been waiting the whole time. He followed the cop car, and he said that he was my husband and he wanted to come in with me, and they just wouldn't allow him in. I don't know if it was because of the reasons I was there or because of COVID. I don't know. So he waited. He waited and waited and waited because he was like, I'm not leaving. So he came in, and he was finally able to be with me, and which was a good thing because like nurses had come in at that point and they weren't getting much out of me, and that was because I was in my own little show basically. So they ended up being able to talk to him, and he was able to give them more information. Now, we had never dealt with me being hospitalized before, so we didn't know what to really expect, to be honest with you. So me and my husband are waiting, and he's getting told that he'll be able to come with me, like almost like a hotel. Like he'll be able to come in and stay with me and keep me calm, and we could work through it together. So, or like an actual hospital, like you go into the hospital and you could have one person stay with you. So that's what he was thinking. I was just like, at this point, I had to keep reconfirming that he was who he was. Because I would even get confused about who he was. I was like, is this my husband? Is this Richard? And so it was kind of comforting though once I realized, oh, that's him, because it was somebody that I recognized. So the closest place they could put me was in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Guys, I live like 45 minutes from Baton Rouge, which is not that bad. I mean, it really wasn't that bad to be kind of far, but at the same time, I'm kind of far. So they bring me to this place in Baton Rouge. I'll let you know. It's called Apollo. And so I go in, and the lady at the door, I had to be driven there too. They had to get a certain kind of driver to drive me there from the hospital. So, and trust me, getting that driver took forever. Like forever. Like we didn't leave until it was probably 1 o'clock in the morning. And I had been there since about 10 in the morning. So like at the hospital at 10 in the morning. So they go ahead and they get the driver, and he drives me, and my husband's following me in our car. And he drives all the way to Apollo, and this lady goes, "You're not allowed in," to my husband. And my husband is furious because he's like, they told me I could come. At least can I get her set up and get her straight? No, because of COVID, nobody was allowed in. So I go in by myself, and I sit in this chair, and I am terrified because now I am somewhere I don't know what's going on. I'm somewhere that I don't know. My husband is now gone. Like, what am I doing? What am I doing here? And they go over my bag basically, because my husband packed me a bag of clothes and had it, at the hospital for me to wear whenever I went there. And they have to search all your clothes. They take out your shoelaces. You can only have certain clothing items. Like even if you have a sweatshirt with laces, like the little laces to tie, you cannot have it. You cannot have it. If you can't get the lace out, or you don't want them to take it out, you cannot have it. They can only have certain kind of clothing, like you can't be walking around with just tank tops on or anything like that. You have to have like shirts or something. But they were like, okay, and they gave me a laundry basket. They were like, all your clothes is okay. You know, we took laces out and everything. You can have your shoes. And my sweatshirt that I had actually didn't have the laces. So I was lucky. And then they were going over everything with me. Everybody was already asleep. And I remember there was this lady. She was snoring so bad. Like, I was in the front room, and the rooms are going all the way down, like on either side of the front room. It kind of just made a giant 8, if you will. Well, not really H, a R, I would say a R. Like, I was at the top point of the R, and then rooms were going this way, rooms were going that way, and in the middle they had a little walkway, and that was where the bathrooms and stuff were. But then they also had a hallway going at the top of the R that led to other places. So I go ahead and they tell me, go take a shower, and here's some gowns you could wear, and then after that we're gonna go ahead and start washing your clothes. So I was like, still confused. So I go take a shower because that's what they tell me to do. And luckily I had just cut my hair. So it was actually lovely because I could use the dryer, the hand dryer. I just had to press it, put my head under, and I was able to dry my hair. So it wasn't completely freezing. But I didn't realize that night. So I was freezing. I had wet hair, I had my socks, I had underwear, and I had one gown going around me like a hospital gown, and the other gown going around me the other way. That way I would be warm. And I gave them my clothes and my towels and everything. This lady brought me into a room. She kept asking me questions. I was really, really confused and upset. They took my fidget, so I could no longer mess with my fidget. And I was just terrified. Absolutely terrified. And I had to sign a bunch of papers saying that I will go to classes, I will participate, and I won't cause any harm to others and things like that. So it was like really freaky for me because all this is going on and it's like 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning at this point. And they put me in a room, and they put me in the room with the snorer, the loud snore that I was saying that we heard all over the front room and everything. They put me in the same room as her. And I don't remember sleeping very much that night. I was freezing, my hair was wet, I was exhausted, I didn't know where I was at. I just cried and cried and cried. And then the next morning they had breakfast, and we had to go down that hallway, like I said, at the top of the R to go to a breakfast room. And I remember they had some guys that were very nice. They said, look, come sit over here with us, and stuff. They had a few people that were very, very nice over there. Just saying. You expect it to be like everybody is losing their mind. They had one that was, pretty much, but everybody else was not. Everybody else was there. They had their own reasons and stuff like that. And it was pretty nice, to have somebody be nice to you and you're scared. And we ate. We go back to the front room, and we had a call time. They had these little cell phones like that. Everybody probably remembers the little Nokias. Like you could run them over, and they wouldn't be harmed. They had 2 of those, and I just remember being on the phone with my husband and telling him, I'm sorry, I won't do it again, just take me home. And we were both crying on the phone. And I was still very confused of where I was at. I just knew I wasn't home. I knew I wasn't with my husband or my kids. I'm surrounded by people I don't know. And I was still messed up, basically. And the doctor came in that day, and I had a panic attack while talking to the doctor. Obviously, it was a male doctor. And there was a bunch of females in the room. They all surrounded me. I didn't go to any classes that day, and I was just terrified. And they kind of understood, that that, it's my first day. I'm scared. They already, told the other ladies, be like, she's really scared. She has a lot of anxiety, and she's going through some stuff. She doesn't know where she is. So it was a lot going on. I had to give blood. I was being poked and prodded everywhere. And I had to get medication, and they gave me a lot of medication. It made me sleep a lot. And what it did was it kind of restarted my brain. Now, after my snoring roommate left, she left like the next day, I got a new roommate, and we ended up becoming very close friends. And it was actually starting to become pretty nice. Like, I stopped hallucinating so much, and I was starting to come back to reality. And they kind of helped me out with that. I started going to classes. I started participating. The classes weren't bad. They had a schedule, so you kind of just followed the schedule, and everything was all right. And it kind of made the day go by faster. And I'm not gonna lie, I actually enjoyed it. Like, I looked forward to going to the classes. I looked forward to talking to these therapists and stuff, because they actually tuned in, they listened to you, and it was very nice at the end. It was a very nice experience, and I was so happy to finally leave and go home. My husband came pick me up, and I went home. Now, obviously, like I said, I got hospitalized again, so it didn't last forever, but that is my story for whenever I got first hospitalized. And it was actually, like I said, a good experience. You can actually make a hospitalization a good experience if you participate, if you actually open up yourself. And like I said, I made a friend or two, so it was nice to actually have somebody that, after even the therapy, that you could relate to, that you could talk to, that understood that, you're having these issues, and be like, it's okay because I'm having these issues too. It was nice. And, I kind of told my husband, next time if I have to get hospitalized, I'd rather go back over there again. Like I said, it was really nice. All the people over there were really nice, and we did have a few fights. I'm not gonna lie, we had a few fights, but overall it was pretty okay. It was nice, and it was nice to have to go. And like, basically they just restarted my brain with all these medications, and it was nice to finally come back and be me a little bit, and that was the beginning of a few diagnoses that I have, but it is what it is. So thank you for listening to my first hospitalization story, and I will see you again next time. Bye.